Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. I am, hold on a second. Okay, I am thrilled to be with you guys this morning and also to bring in a guest that we're going to be talking to here. Why don't we just go ahead and bring him in? I want to welcome and introduce everybody to Devin. Devin, can you hear me, my man?
Yeah, hey man, how's it going?
Awesome, dude. As always, like I always do, I sort of hopped on at the very last minute um, to, go live on the show. So just like I've done and do every morning, I'm going to be getting to know you, and we're going to be talking sort of wide open and super transparently and sort of
Love
learning
it.
about you and getting to know you, man. Here, kind of, I'll be doing that just right along with everybody else. So first and foremost, where are you calling in from? Where are you at now?
I'm in Idaho, neighboring town
Idaho.
of the capital. Yep,
Okay, okay. What is the capital of Idaho? Is it
Boise.
Boise? It is
Yeah,
Boise.
so I'm about 20 minutes west in Nampa.
Nice, man. Nice, nice, nice. Well, I won't crack a Idaho potato joke because I'm
We get
sure
it all
you
the
won't.
time, man.
um, I don't have an Idaho potato joke, anyways. But if I did, I wouldn't hit you with that. I was reading a little bit about because you, just like all people who come on the show, we ask them a few questions just to learn about them before, they come on. And, we titled this show The Small Wins, why they matter.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that a little bit. One of the biggest things is to help people stay inspired and to realize that this game, this journey, whatever you want to call it, this business, is not full of big burning bushes, but instead of small
Yep.
milestones along
Absolutely.
the way, filled with lots of frustration and lots of kind of, y- you know, lots of, I guess, it's never a dull moment, along the way. So tell us like a little bit about, do you got a smoothie there?
That's a coffee. I just kept the cup from when I got it at a gas station. So
Okay. Okay. Well, dude, I've got a coffee. I've got a smoothie. I've got a jug of water in front of me. I'm the guy with 15 drinks all the time going.
dang.
Um,
Prepared.
So tell us a little bit about like how you got started and what you did before you got in the internet game, or what you do now, as well as the internet marketing world here that we're in, and kind of what led you to getting started online.
So I'm actually still part-time. No shame in that, but
No?
I affiliate marketing was the first thing I really did like any action with. Prior to that, I was just kind of chasing shiny objects and learning about things, but never really pulling the trigger. And I started about a year ago. I started learning about just like opportunities and how much possibility there is outside of the 9 to 5 by listening to people like Bob Proctor and just being inspired and through the YouTube algorithm, I eventually started seeing more like make money online videos. And I was like, oh, perfect. Law of attraction is working. That's exactly what I was thinking about. And after going through all of the multiple different niches and genres of ways to do that, affiliate marketing really just seemed to click more for me and my personality.
Okay.
You don't have to be a diehard salesman. You don't have to be sleazy. I'm sure there are people are that do that, but it's not as common, I would say.
Mm.
And I've talked to people who did like door-to-door sales and killed it. One of my buddies I just actually interviewed not too long ago. And then I've done a little bit more aggressive sales in like a call center scenario. So I wasn't like completely new to the idea of sales, but affiliate marketing was brand new. So as we all have had a lot of things to overcome and still do, but it seems to be moving in the right direction. And that's kind of ties into the title of Count Those Small Wins.
So, what led you to Legendary? What's your experience been like here so far? And, would you recommend it to somebody else?
So I actually saw Nathan Lucas's videos a while ago, and he was the one that introduced me to it. And in back then, when I was still looking for ways to help get going, there was a lot of things that just that I would look at, and they just didn't really appeal to me. They didn't seem like they were going to meet me as a beginner and help me grow from there. And the more I watched Nathan, I was just like, dude, they're talking to me. Like, I have pretty much no experience online. I could tell you all about the tech stuff of computers and TVs, but I didn't know anything about like sales funnels or email automation, anything like that. So just hearing him talk about it, and then getting into like the Facebook community and seeing your guys' videos, it just felt right. And I think even without me, the community speaks for itself. I have checked out other communities, and there's none where the majority is saying positive things. Usually there's like one or two people who are super excited about it, and then the rest are just kind of like, eh. So it's helped me grow. Legendary's helped me grow a long way with not only like the technical stuff, but also a lot of the business mindset areas as well.
Well, I think you said that in a way that was so realistic, which is that you're never going to have 100% of people who are like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing, or are even positive about something. But you're right. There's so many different, like, whether it be a guru or a company or whatever, that it's just, there's no activity. There's nobody talking about that it works. It's just sort of this kind of, maybe the guru who's, kind of the spokesperson for the brand. And one of my favorites is how they just chum it up with all their other super successful marketing buddies, but never hear from the students, never hear from real people. And that's sort of like the model, you know what I mean? That's like the model of creating content, is in running seminars and doing podcasts. Is, you have this guru who has other gurus on the podcast or whatever it is, but you never hear from the people. You never get a chance to work with them. You never get a chance to be in the trenches with them. And so, I like that about our community as well. And I think you said that because it just feels right, and it feels authentic, and it feels real to me. But the way you said it was really clear. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about why you suggested that we title and talk about making the small wins be something to not overlook. What do you mean by that? And why is that something that, in all of the, clearly the success training that you've gone through, from Bob Proctor's to I'm sure if you've done Bob Proctor content, you've seen a lot of stuff. So out of everything that you've done and listened to and tried and could have talked about or would have been excited to talk about today with us, it's not overlooking the small wins. Give us the personal experience that you've had with that and why you think that's a big deal.
So I'm obviously not the first person to say that. You hear those big name people like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins emphasize the attitude of gratitude. And I think for a lot of people, myself included, it's easy to see the outliers who are making tons of money in whatever venture that they go off of, and not immediately getting those results yourself, and then allowing it to like beat yourself up about it. So counting the small wins makes it easier to get into that attitude of gratitude, and it builds momentum. So instead of just waiting for one big win, finally made $10,000 a month and just being miserable up until that point, finding all of the little things. Hey man, I went through the trainings. Hey man, I built a sales funnel for the first time. Hey man, I got my YouTube channel monetized in a year. I became profitable in a year. And just like looking at the statistic significance of that kind of stuff compared to what most people will ever do, even though in the grand scheme of things, it's small. And, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but focusing on those little things builds momentum. And when you get into that state of gratitude, first of all, you start feeling better, but also it just kind of dampens the that negative cloud that might be coming to like beat your ass if you're not careful. And especially after last year, and if anyone had any like long period of negative programming into their head, like I'm only 28, and probably 20 years of my life was a very aggressive negative programming. it's hard to overcome, and it's easy for me to stay in that state of like doom and gloom. And I actually had to take like a little bit of time off of like making content because I was letting that cloud beat me down, and I had to just step away and re-get myself into that attitude of gratitude. But if I'm not careful and if I'm not trying to focus on those little wins, man, I'll stay there for months, and that's dangerous. Nothing good is going to happen when you're only thinking negative stuff. So I've like I said, I'm not where I want to be, but man, I've made some crazy progress, and like I've become almost like a beacon of hope for friends to start pursuing their own dreams, and that's amazing. And it's just, as silly as it sounds, the attitude of gratitude, man. If you can start thinking about that stuff and count those wins, the big wins are going to come, and then it's going to feel great. But got to start with the small stuff, baby steps.
Yeah. So I love all this. I'm in love with everything you're saying. I think this is the key to everything. This is if there's a secret, this is the secret. If there's a, you know, it doesn't matter how successful you get, this is always going to be super key. Both finding things to be grateful for and finding things to celebrate. Entrepreneurs already have a hard time celebrating things. We seem to be naturally hard on ourselves, critical on ourselves, and for many different reasons. But we have a hard time celebrating things. And the other thing is taking responsibility for our success. You know, like taking responsibility for the things we do and taking responsibility for the things that we don't do. It's really empowering, and it allows us to stay clean and clear of sort of toxic shame that comes and really is what's underneath when people are blaming things on other people. If I'm blaming things, for example, when I was younger, I had drug addiction issues, alcoholism, and I was blaming everybody else for it. And it was because I had toxic shame inside myself because I didn't feel good about my behavior and my destructive nature. And the same thing happens in marketing and business when we take course after course and you say shiny objects and we don't do anything with it, we don't follow through. It actually can create toxic shame because we feel, badly about ourselves. We feel like we're a failure, we're never going to be successful, and we compare ourselves to other people. And then when we finally sink our teeth into something and start just taking small focused action, and then like you said, it's so hard to get out of that negative thinking. If then we can, and this is the hard part, I think, Devin, like you said, notice the action that you're taking, notice the progress that you're making, and then celebrate that. That shame or that depression or whatever is going on underneath begins to really heal quickly. It really begins.
Absolutely.
We can overcome depression and shame rather fast. It's sort of like a wound on the body that I had a skin thing taken off, precancerous thing off of my back a couple of weeks ago, and I got the stitches out in 2 weeks. So I was cut and my skin healed in 2 weeks, and that just shows how quickly the body can heal. So it's amazing. You said 20 years of negative like programming, and you are coming out of that in such a short period of time. I think that goes to show how quickly we actually can begin to rewire our brains. What comes up for you when I say that?
Absolutely, man. Like before I started all this, before at that 20-year mark, before I started taking control of my life, I telling me that I would have been in like a positive state at least some of the time sounded crazy because I was just so used to hearing all the negative stuff, and that's what I believed, because that's all I heard. So it sounds silly to say it out loud. Like when I was first hearing that stuff from all like Bob Proctor, Tony, you, I was just like, man, quit pulling my leg. That's not how it works, man. I know. But then I just I started doing the whole act as if thing. Like, okay, well, how would I feel if I did feel good? And how would I feel if I did get some wins? And then it just kind of builds from there. But you gotta try to feel better and take control, because otherwise it's gonna win and you're not gonna make any progress. So like, what's the point if you're not gonna try?
Well, the one of the most powerful things that I've ever learned and that I say often is you have to actualize the results that you want. Actualize means make reality of, but the first three letters of that word is act. And it goes back to a simple concept that I learned in recovery, which is you can't act yourself into a new way of you can't think yourself into a new way of acting. You have to act yourself into a new way of thinking, meaning
Yep.
that um, I can't just hope for a better life, or I can't just hope for a better mindset. I actually have to act, and sometimes I have to do things even if I don't believe them. I remember when I used to go to 12-step meetings, and I didn't want to go, you know, and I didn't believe in any of it, and I had people just tell me, "Well, believe that I believe." And eventually your mind will follow. Just do it anyways. Go
Yep.
anyways, Dave. Show up anyways, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Share anyways, Dave. Do the work anyways, Dave. Pray anyways, Dave. Whatever their suggestions were, and eventually, eventually through those actions, my thinking changed, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like I can stay clean, or I can maybe have a better life." I remember at 18, I thought my life was going to be, I was either going to be dead or in prison, and that was my destiny. And today I can't imagine. It feels like a different lifetime. So it's got to feel
Yep.
different for you. And if you could just share a bit more about how people, so many of us have had negative programming from parents and family, and particularly it's come from family because we're around family so much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we were, I mean, some of us have been abused and neglected, but some of us have just been programmed with just negative, defeating messages around money, around our potential, and what give people hope who just feel that sense of depression and hopelessness, and look around and compare themselves to other people, say on social media, and say, I could never be like that. Speak to those people, brother, because I think that you have a unique and powerful message and experience, particularly because you touched on your 20 years of that negative programming and now coming out of it.
So for that, I would say there's a few things. So if you are going through depression and things like that, you might find more benefit from people who speak wisdom, like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, instead of just the next clever marketer out there. That might hit home a little bit deeper than here's this tactic to make some money, you know? Also, with that wisdom, the hearing the message of you're not good enough comes in many forms. So for example, I'm not the biggest guy in the world right now, especially after this year, gyms are closed. But my negative message was up until I was 20, 21, all I heard from my family, my friends, and pretty much everyone was, you're too skinny. I was skinny, but like, that's all I heard from people. That was the first thing they would say to me. And another way of interpreting that I didn't know at the time was, you're not good enough. So that transferred over into everything. And I had to get around the right set of people. I had to go through, my jacked weightlifting coach at the time. When I asked him for help, he said, eat more and lift. I was like, dude, I'm a beginner. I don't know what that means. Can you elaborate a little bit? It's not technically wrong, but his message wasn't for me because he didn't have any interest in helping beginners. Eat more and lift makes sense to people who are in fitness already. They know how to write out a nutrition plan, build a weightlifting plan, hit the right reps, all that stuff. And the same thing goes for any area of your life. If you go to the generic guys out on the internet and they're so confident in their message, but they're giving these generic messages, it's not going to click, and that's going to add to your depression. So you have to be willing to like not listen to people that are not going to help you. And that's why Legendary is also so great. They meet beginners where they're at and help them grow from there, no matter what you want to do, whether it's affiliate marketing like me or any of the other 4 core business models that we talk about. But But getting around those right people, man, it's going to change things for you. And I hope that you keep looking until you find those people that will give you that message. Even if they're not the most hypey, if they can point you in the right direction and get you started, that's the most important thing.
Well, thank you for that, and just for that really truthful message. And like what I want to piggyback on that and say is that I would say, Devin, because I want to validate what you just said for both you, but also anybody else who's resonating with what you just said, and I know many are, is that I would say 99% of marketers out there are ill-equipped to lead people.
Absolutely. in
Okay.
any industry, whether it's marketing or fitness or whatever. But
right, exactly. And it's because, and this is why I talk about the mechanics and the dynamics so much, is because it's, life, uh, or learning, in developing in any skill or in anything you do in life, whether it's like you're going to college to be a lawyer, or whether you, particularly if you want to start your own business, the mechanical stuff is not, if you were to think about an iceberg, how
your mic's cutting out, Dave.
am I back?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. So like the tip of the iceberg is what you see sticking out of the water, which is kind of the mechanics, and the whole entire iceberg that's under the water is the dynamics. And that's what we mean in terms of the internal the internal development of our self-esteem, and the internal growth of our mindset, and our self-awareness and so forth. And most people are not really developed in those areas. So we have to be real careful with who we learn from the people that we associate with and put ourselves around. And I think that's not talked about enough, that in this whole success industry, there's a lot of toxic people, and there's a lot of toxic shaming.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people who are teaching mechanical things, how to trade stocks, how to do affiliate marketing, how to sell courses, whatever. But if you were to spend time with them in their personal lives, you would see that they're really actually pretty unhealthy people. Whether it's the relationship drama, whether it's addictions, whether it's mental illness, whether it's just self-destructive, self-sabotaging behavior. Anybody can be anything on the internet, right?
Yep.
But
Doesn't take much.
behind the scenes, who are they? And so, I think for a lot of people who come into Legendary anyways, what we try to create is a community and an atmosphere that has zero shaming, that has zero bullshit and hype and sort of comparisonitis. Let's compare ourselves to each other, and then have people feeling bad if they're not at that certain level yet, and instead focus on the things that we're talking about today, which is let's grow ourselves from the inside out,
Yep.
and because we don't get the money and then become the person. We become the person, and then we get the money. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
that's why the majority of people who win the lotto are broke within a couple of years, because they didn't become the person that they needed to be, to have discipline, to understand, how to manage money, and so forth. So, anyways,
You said
anything coming up for you?
Yeah, you said you mentioned the iceberg, and I've referenced a similar idea and I've talked about like the shape of a pyramid, not a pyramid scheme, no MLMs, nothing like that. The shape of a pyramid. Most people, regardless of what they're in, they're going to sell you the top shiny part of the pyramid. You can't build a pyramid without the base and all the other stuff in between. But unfortunately, that stuff, the big part on the bottom, that's the boring stuff. Nobody wants to get there. They want the shiny thing at the top. And it's unfortunate that the most important stuff isn't more hypey and isn't getting usually the attention that it needs. But look at the community here. Like, there's tons of people in their lives building progress because they're addressing the foundational stuff first and growing from there. And then just keep building on that. You'll get the shiny thing, but iceberg, pyramid, whatever, there's always more than what the shiny thing that is getting sold to you.
Yeah. Yep. And I think embracing the boring stuff is really important, Devin. It's something that I've embraced. I wish I would have embraced it a little bit earlier in my career, because I would have been I think I would have been happier in terms of, like, within my marriage and stuff. I was, I made money, but I wasn't happy, and I wasn't settled and peaceful personally for many years, because, I was kind of a raw, street, recovering drug addict and ex-homeless high school dropout teenage father, when I got into this industry when I was 25, and it took me several years, man, to my raw kind of talent, similar to you, when you sort of get past your limiting beliefs, right, that others have given you. You're a talented guy. You're coming on here today, and you're speaking clearly and powerfully, and it's an awesome thing. um and I had that kind of raw talent as well when I started, but I had a lot of baggage. I had a lot of shit that was bubbling under the surface, that I needed to go to therapy and work on, that I needed to deal with in recovery. I needed to work on myself. It wasn't just sharing motivational memes on Facebook. I needed to go and work on my shit. And over the past 10 years, I've done that. And now my marriage has never been better. It's beyond my wildest dreams. My relationship with
Awesome.
my kids, I seem to have time in the day to do everything that I want to do. And I work my ass off, and I spend as many hours as I need to working each day. And it all just sort of flows. And that's because of embracing these boring things that you're talking about, that are actually, they may seem boring, but they create so much happiness and fulfillment in life. And that's the discipline. That's the
Yeah.
taking responsibility. If you're wondering what we're talking about, the discipline, the taking responsibility, the making hard decisions about who we listen to and spend time with, like setting boundaries, not allowing, not being codependent, not taking other people's shit on, not people pleasing, making decisions for ourselves, like all this stuff, in addressing addictions,
Yep.
drug addiction, alcohol addiction, porn addiction, all this shit, right? There's things that in my personal life I need to stay on top of. And if I don't, I will suffer, my business will suffer. And that's that lower part of the pyramid, or the iceberg, that we're talking about. I just wanted to end with giving people specifics around
Yeah.
this stuff, because I don't want to talk about it like it's ambiguous, like these magical. No, the boring shit is the eat fucking 3 good meals a day, get a good night's sleep, do good
Drink water.
self-care, right? Like, drink water, remember to eat, remember to do a little bit of exercise. Like, don't sit in front of your computer for 14 hours and then go and
Yep.
watch porn and then go to bed. Like, that's not going to be a recipe for success.
Not gonna help.
Like, I got to do good self-care stuff. I got to do good self-care stuff if I want to. This is the business, and this body and this mind and these emotions are what's running this business. And if I'm not taking care of it, then I can't expect that it's going to run at optimum, performance. So, Devin, anything that's coming up for you, or any last words that you want to share, man? I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I just want to say, also on that note, I would say be willing to be certain in telling people thank you, but I'm not interested. For instance, if you have had that like negative programming for a while, those same people might come tell you how they think you should do things. But if they're not doing what you want to do, it's okay to still be nice. But like, thank you. I respect your opinion, but no, thank you. I'm not going to listen to you. I have family and friends do that all the time, and I love them to death, but they're not doing what I want to do. So I respectfully decline. But also embrace the long journey. Like, even if it's not flashy, man, like that's kind of how I got my brand name, Freedom Saga. A saga used to be like an ancient Greek story, and it was an epic story, and freedom is the destination. It's not going to happen like click a button and you're free. Like you're going to have an epic story to tell when you get there, but before you can tell it, you have to start walking it and start going to that journey.
Freedom Saga. I love that, brother. Is that how people can find you? Do we
Yep.
have any sort of handles, or how should they just look you up, or should they just go to where Freedom Saga
Yep.
on
Just the
YouTube?
name
Okay, we got that up on the screen now.
and
Awesome.
TikTok, but
We'll
yeah,
go.
YouTube's my main one.
Okay, well go follow Devin and connect with Devin. What's your last name? We don't have that up on the screen.
Oh, my bad. Layne, Layne.
Layne. So Devin Layne,
Yep.
Layne. Go connect with Devin on Facebook, and get in Devin's network, get in his corner, get him in your corner. And this is, I just want to make this super clear to everybody that I am solely one of the cogs of this wheel. I mean, I want this community and the people within our legendary family to be able to build independent businesses, not dependent businesses on me or even on this community. So connect with each other and get in each other's corners and build accountability. We had a guest on yesterday, Shelly, and she had a group of 5 or 6 people that she was in a Facebook group with and accountable. Sometimes it's not always about building the big group. Sometimes it's about
Yeah, the
what are
right
the
people.
4 or 5 people I can have in my corner that are safe, that I feel motivated by, that I feel like I can share anything with, I can be myself around, and we can hold each other accountable and feel and inspire each other. But anyways, you're a dude that is absolutely worthy of having in our corner, and I hope
Thank you.
all of you guys watching will connect with Devin and Devin. I hope that you will continue to see your worth and really to really strive to become the best version of yourself, my brother. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you create. And I hope that you'll come back on in a couple of months and update us on your journey.
Absolutely, man. I'd be happy to. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
All right, brother. Be well, brother. Be legendary. We'll talk to you later.
All right. See you.
All right, guys. Yeah, that dude's super cool. I like that. I like that conversation a lot. This is the stuff I like to talk about. I like how Devin pointed out the tip of the iceberg, which is what everybody's selling out there, the shiny bullshit, um, get rich magical money machines or lose weight without exercise and eating healthy, like all this dumb stuff, which ironically is what people will buy and want to buy. And in our copywriting and marketing, we have to have an element of easy, simple, and frame our offers in a way that makes people willing to give things a try. And that's sort of the weird balancing act that we make that we do as marketers. But as entrepreneurs, we have to really embrace um, the difficult and the boring parts of this journey, which are the things that we talked about today, and not get seduced, not get seduced by this these magical uh, money machine, magic bullet bullshit solutions that are not real. We have to be honest with ourselves, and the faster that we dig in and commit and lean in to doing the work. One of the things that we tell our 4-year-old daughter all the time is you can do hard things. As a matter of fact, I just heard my wife say that to her this morning as I was leaving with her to take her to school. My wife said, you can do hard things. You can do hard things. Boy, what an empowering message. I want to tell you guys today that you can do hard things. Okay, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow for Wake Up Legendary. Thanks again to Devin. Go connect with him. Freedom Saga on YouTube. Go support each other. That's what this is about. We'll see you back here tomorrow for Wake Up Legendary.